Welcome, my friends. This is Archangel. You know, well, of course, most people know that male weakness annoys me. Males are simply validation addicts, constantly on the prowl for any opportunity to service females, which will give them their next fix of female acknowledgement and attention, their next good boy pat on the head. Yes, I understand that most males are too weak to live a solitary life where they are empowered and sovereign. Instead, dudes will gladly settle for slavery and illusion as they chase salvation 3 seconds at a time via female-assisted ejaculations. When you boil it down to brass tacks, males, they really are the architects of their own misery and destruction. And I have come to realize that there is no male camaraderie in male spaces. Male empowerment, even MGTOW, is a temporary rest stop as males get their bearings and really take in reality. They can see that males are devalued and that life sucks for guys. So they vent a little, maybe they smear the female collective a bit, yet at the end of the day, they must decide where to go when the novelty of MGTOW or male spaces has worn off. And this leaves them two options. Either they live celibate and isolated for the most part, or they can go back to the matrix. And so most males will hang around male spaces or MGTOW long enough to talk themselves into going back in to the matrix. I am not fooled. Male empowerment membership is made up mostly of males who are deciding which avenue is best for jumping back in to the matrix. And jumping back into the matrix also comes with two options. Either you jump back in as a male feminist and placate, pamper, and serve females like a dog hoping to get a few table scraps tossed their way once in a while if they sit obediently. Or males can jump back into the matrix under the guise of traditionalism. In other words, returning to patriarchy. And I observe the latter as the preferred route that most purple pill posers take when returning to the matrix. And this traditional masculinity includes every vein of male, from pickup artists to military to religious folks. And so males returning to the plantation via patriarchy, suddenly they will get all radical conservative and preach that traditionalism is the only means of order in this messed up world. Returning to traditionalism is rather like returning to fossil fuel consumption and calling it a day, because we have grown tired of trying to make electric power work. So rather than address a growing energy addiction juxtaposed with dwindling finite resources, we simply return to a broken state of slavery, where we are at the mercy of those who control fossil fuels. Likewise, males don't want to find solutions to male disposability. They want to jump back into a construct where they exist in a broken state of slavery, where they are at the mercy of females who are the slave masters that dispense little bits of male addiction, which is validation via female approval. Most males are temporary MGTOW at best, and of that lot, some will jump back in as full-blown female servants. The rest will jump back in as some form of traditionalism, where they desire females to play subservient as males do the labor, the protecting, and of course the dying. You see, the problem with any form of traditionalism is that it still values females over males. Moreover, under any shade of this oppressive patriarch paradigm, males still infantilize females, which means that males must do all the dying as they labor and protect these delicate women children that they hold upon pedestals of fragility. That is the problem with traditionalism. It still devalues males and only thrives off male sacrifice. It is as male abusive as feminism. Feminism is in-your-face man-hating. Traditionalism is man-hating hidden within dogma, such as God, honor, duty, country, family, all the hip-hip hooray tenets proffered in Boy Scouts, or military, or religion, or patriotism, or humanity's constructs of family. Guys, you are so pathetically transparent. Leaving male welfare and empowerment behind for a return to the plantation? Yeah, this speaks volumes. If you jump back in as a full-blown simp male feminist mangina, it says that you have no dignity. You care about nothing but trying to get your pat on the head. You are misandristic and masochistic. In general, you just like being a litter box for females. Now, if you return to the Matrix under the patriarchy guise, it says that you also chase your validating pat on the head by having females play subservient to you, which infers that they need you. You are also misandristic, as you still despise males that come around your pride, and you secretly cheer other people's sons or fathers or brothers being killed in war or hazardous jobs, so long as they continue to maintain the societal status quo, so that you may go on indulging in your fairy tale of romance, in your dream of family. Jumping back into the Matrix and claiming traditional ideologies also means that you like to be a litter box to females as well. Oh, yeah, and your kids and society, all of whom take turns crapping on you at different times. So, you see, there is no difference in depreciation or disposability in either plantation scenario. Both traditionalism and feminism are ripe with male devaluation and male expendability. Both veins of males are sad little vagina addicts that will be used as female litter boxes, and both will be squeezed for utility. Males going back to the plantation via the conservative route are as pathetic as mangina male feminists. Both are looking for female attention, female-assisted ejaculations, female validation, and ultimately, female approval. Yeah, let's go back to the way things used to be in the 1940s. Or how about the Old West? Or maybe when we were living in caves and females played nice because they really truly needed males to protect the clan and bring home dinner. Conservatism? Yeah, that sounds like the best option that male welfare has. Well, except that they are still devalued and disposed of. Please, whatever, that's just small little details. Believe me, I get it. Males come to male empowerment spaces, look around for a while, yet because of the siren's call of uterus, males essentially see that they are disposable and that there is no way out of this. And so disposability under conservatism seems the better option, where they will get fake romance and false respect in exchange for utility. Oh yes, this seems much more dignified than simply being a whipping boy accessory to the feminist establishment. Yes, out of the two vectors for returning to the plantation, traditionalism seems more favorable, but both are peas in the same pod, and I would argue traditionalism as even more insidious towards males. At least you can see feminist hatred, you can plan defense for their open attacks. Sorry, gentlemen. If you care about your own welfare, if you feel that you have value second to none, if you refute injustice, then you must eschew the Matrix entirely. Neither plantation will provide you respite, relief, or remedy to male disposability. Not feminism, and most certainly not traditionalism, conservatism, or patriarchy, whatever flavor you like to call it. And the guys that promote conservatism are as weak and needy for female approval as male feminists are. I see more and more guys that promote the males are disposable by nature soundbite, and then they proffer that the only way to get any kind of relief is to return to traditionalism or patriarchy, a return to community and family, a return to fierce patriotism, a return to Jesus, a return to small town values, blah blah etc. blah. Yeah, this is simply duct tape over bullet holes. These guys are not really the awakened warriors they try to portray themselves as. They don't really care about the male collective, only about their own validational needs. They are merely closeted purple simps who are sad that females are hypergamous and gynocentric, and they just want to get to a place where they can pretend that females like, respect, and value them. And so, these second-class citizens with testicles look around male spaces and indulge in various philosophy and ideological discussions, and many of them are indeed truly smart. Yet, when all is boiled down, they are still purple pillars talking of male empowerment, even as they look for any theology that holds a secret unicorn stash. And eventually, the majority decide that the most promising game in town is a return to patriarchy. Friends, this is usually what happens to most former MGTOWs. They are not out changing the world. They have quite simply returned to the Matrix via the patriarchy route. Either way, the end result is that they have still returned to the plantation. I observe so many sideshows in the male empowerment sphere. There is everything from the genuine to the treacherous. And of course there is the bandwagoneers, males that call themselves MGTOW, who are simply blue pillars on a dry spell. I also see others who preach that the most logical recourse to the male plight is to try and stuff the feminist genie back into the bottle. These males are simply purple pillars who don't want to liberate males or improve the welfare of the male collective. They seek self-enrichment and are ready to plug back into gynocentrism. They are simply looking for a better experience, a better deal when they do plug back in. Much like Cypher telling Agent Smith as he chews on his steak that he wanted money and to be more important when he gets plugged back in to the Matrix. So, a couple things. For one, patriarchy, the way it is commonly bantered about in society, suggests a world dominated by males in which males enjoy all the spoils of this planet that they dominate. This is the meaning that most reference when using the term patriarchy. A world by males for males, which is abusive and oppressive to all who are not male. Well, guess what? This is bull. It is a world built and maintained by males for female benefit. Did you catch that? Female benefit. So patriarchy is no recourse to improving male welfare. Next, these males that preach a return to conservatism know that really, for any male to be valued under this return to traditionalism theme, there needs to be male scarcity, such as mass male kill-offs caused by war. These traditional conservatives wanting to go back are hoping, praying that they will be one of the spared males that does not get killed off in war or hazardous jobs, who then gets to be flanked with perks solicited by the deluge of females left in the wake of male population kill-offs. This, by necessity, means that tradcons secretly harbor ill intent, that other people's fathers or sons or brothers be removed in order to make male numbers scarce, so that their dreams of female validation come true. These tradcons are not concerned with male welfare, but rather they are callous and abusive of males because they long for a paradigm where males are killed off, protecting and maintaining society. A construct where other males are killed off so that these guys can realize their fairy tales of super duper special big strong alpha that females will flock to, respect, and desire. Male scarcity under the patriarchal umbrella is simply a matter of supply and demand. You see, in the wake of war or dangerous jobs under traditionalism, males are the fodder killed off to maintain society. Hence, when males are killed off in disproportionate numbers compared to the female populace, it creates a male utility vacuum, which in turn creates a demand by females for the remaining males' utility and labor. And so translated into tradcon speak, guys want male scarcity because it becomes two girls for where the remaining live males will get inundated with female attention. In addition, under the scenario of male scarcity caused by patriarchy, female hypergamy is temporarily stymied, as females will put up with a lot more crap from their man because they know there is a shortage of men, and they better cling to what they have, lest they be stuck without a shovel like other females. And under this male scarcity, females try extra hard to please and appreciate the man that they have. So, male scarcity promoted by patriarchy, where males do all the dying because they must provide all labor and protection for the females that conservatism likes to infantilize with neotenous virtue. This scarcity provides extra attention and validation to the remaining males. This is the Shangri-La of lonely, devalued males, to be inundated with adoration and female attention. Males returning to gynocentrism under the traditionalism justification, they will try to promote their weakness to other males. They will get guys all riled up by stating that males are disposable in nature, and that's just how it is. Then they try and point these newly outraged males in the direction of patriarchy, so that these males may vent their frustration into espousing a return to slavery as being the best remedy to disposability, rather than have the courage to tell males the truth and let males forge a new direction. Short of total technology and world annihilation, the traditionalism males pine away for is not coming back. This is a new dawn of human interaction with new motivators to consider. Yes, perhaps males are the disposable elements in nature, but humans don't live in nature. We live in artificial constructs of logic, reason, and morality, far removed from natural selection or survival of the fittest. Next, the genie is not going back into the bottle, no matter how tradcons froth and foam at the mouth. Chicks are not going back into the kitchen. Why would they? They don't need you. They can get your resource without assisting you with ejaculation or making you a sandwich. And finally, as for procreation, who gives a rat's ass? Seriously, procreation is not conducive to male welfare. These tradcons act like males need to play the male disposability game for the sake of species continuance. Gentlemen, don't buy into the species propagation lure that tradcons try to hook you with. We are a species overpopulating the planet, with the most ignorant folks reproducing the most. Guys need to be less concerned with the shaming tactics of species continuance, and more concerned with recovering their worth and personal value and helping other slaves to do the same. Species continuance? Who gives a damn? You want kids? Adoption is a beautiful option. Let's take care of the kids that are unwanted right now rather than make new victims. I find vain, prideful males to be the ones who insist on having biological children. Yes, I understand there are instinctual drives involved, but in a world where there are so many children abused, neglected, and unwanted, insisting on having biological children is a rather self-absorbed belief. Seriously, you take procreation out of the picture, and males lose disposability, and thus these tradcons pushing their patriarchy lose their argument. So they will always try to pull the discussion back to biological procreation, nature. Humans, we don't live in nature, and thus we are not subjugated to the same paradigm that non-sentient, non-conscious animals are subjected to. I seek to convey to males on a higher moral level that they are not disposable. They are wondrous and beautiful and do not have to deal with disposability or devaluation, whereas these pathetic purple tradcons are trying to beat males down with pessimism. Sorry bro, males are disposable. That's just how it is. Yeah, it sucks, I know, but here's the best way to deal with it. Let's get chicks back into the kitchen and send the boys off to war, so that there will be less dudes as competition, and thus we can have harems of gracious females. How does that sound, sport? And that sounds so good compared to what I offer. All I have is the truth. I promote sobriety beyond romantic chemical intoxication. I don't have paradigms where there are females waiting as a prize for males. I do not offer you 70 virgins for being a martyr and giving your life, because in reality, these things do not exist. Males are expendable in mass, and there is no justice. So the only recourse left is for males to walk away from all abuse. I merely seek to return male worth to males, not extort their anger over disposability into pushing more disposability with fairy tales of returning to some grand place where males totally had it good. No, my messages of eschewment to gynocentrism, to male devaluation and disposability, they are not fluffy and cuddly. It is a bleak picture. But it will build male strength when they realize that they have to reject all the BS on their own and forge a new path and identity by themselves. I am seeking male empowerment, not looking to reboot failed paradigms that feed off of male blood as they have since time began. So piss off with your species procreation. It no longer applies. Stop making males feel worthless and helpless because of nature paradigms. What are you doing to instead lift male spirits, to make males feel valued and worthwhile, to make males feel beautiful and infinite? You're doing nothing. You simply bait males back into disposability, like a foreman gathering all the runaway slaves onto a cart and heading back to the plantation. It doesn't matter which plantation it is, conservatism or feminism, both are toxic to male welfare. I seek to remove male disposability, and this is removed if we take procreation off the table. Male liberation only happens if we walk away. Unfortunately, MGTOW seems to be a temporary stop for males coming to terms with gynocentrism as they decide which avenue and justification they will use to jump back into the matrix. It really is sad. I had hoped that this would be a place of hallowed male worth and sovereignty. Yet, the high turnover rate of members tells the actual story that apparently other MGTOW don't seek the welfare of males through the eradication of male disposability, because in their own way they proselytize a return to it. And the one reason males use to return and get others to return to the meat grinder is reproduction. We have to play the gynocentric male disposability game for the sake of species procreation. And then they solicit other males to return also under this banner. That is the linchpin, the trump card of all of gynocentrism, as well as those males returning to the vaginisty. Species continuance. Well, I say that, in fact, males are more responsible by turning their backs and ceasing procreation in order to balance our drain upon the planet's resources, nullify male disposability, as well as get our crap in a pile before bringing more innocence into this jacked up, messed up world. The bottom line is this: once procreation is off the table, males are no longer disposable. They are in fact more valuable because of their physical attributes, which enhance survival in this hostile world. The temporary nature of male spaces, of male welfare, of male empowerment and sovereignty, it does make me sad. Apparently, males were always doomed. There has never been any justice for males because they fall back into slavery as quickly as they supposedly awaken from it. You fake-ass dudes, just be honest. You don't seek recourse to male devaluation. You don't seek male welfare. You don't seek male empowerment. You don't seek male awakening. You simply seek a more favorable position back inside the matrix. After a specified amount of time, whether a couple months or a couple years, males are longing to get back on the plantation because they are cold and lonely in the absence of female placation and deity worship. I can only hope that more and more males begin to see these tradcons for the simpering little shovels that they are. It doesn't matter what you call yourself: independent, men's rights, MGTOW, anti-feminism, pickup artists, whatever. Disposability is disposability. I care enough about the male plight to not be seduced into traditionalism or conservatism. I stand against this trend of males jumping on the return to patriarchy bandwagon. I stand alone against all of this, against the world, as I always have. And I ask males to stand with me because I do seek male betterment, not a pathetic tradcon unicorn safari. My friends, do what you feel you must with your life. But if your outrage over devaluation and disposability of males is stronger than your desire for 3 seconds of female-assisted ejaculation, then stand with me and live free.